Xiao Wu's training is still continuing. After reaching the high-level God King, he will advance to one level every 4 days. Just 12 days later, Xiao Wu stepped into the little god. An illusory galaxy of laws appeared above her head, and then the galaxy of laws gradually moved downwards and landed at her feet. During this period, the power of the Heavenly Lord surged out of Xiao Wu's soul, helping Xiao Wu complete all of this without having to do anything himself. Saint Hao and Saint Tian were also amazed. Thinking of their hard work and cultivation, they were filled with sadness and tears. They realized that the gap between people is really huge, so big that it makes them want to cry. Xiao Wu's law galaxy is very strange, and neither of the two saints has seen it before. This law galaxy is hazy and illusory, as if it does not exist in this world, and is different from any law galaxy. Other people's laws and galaxies are all surging laws and waves. As for Xiao Wu's law galaxy, there are whirlpools inside, and the entire law galaxy is filled with countless whirlpools. On the surface, everything is calm, but on the inside, there is an undercurrent. When seeing these whirlpools, the two saints were horrified, and they had the illusion that their souls were being sucked into them. As you can imagine, the laws of the galaxy that Xiao Xue understood were terrifying. When the law galaxy fell to its feet, a talisman array suddenly appeared above Xiao Wu's head. This talisman array is very delicate and at the same time extremely complex. Containment talisman array. Wu Xingzuan exclaimed. There was actually a containment talisman hidden in Xiao Wu's soul. This containment talisman array is countless times more sophisticated than the ones drawn by Lin Moyu. Needless to say, the reception comes from the people of the Holy God. The containment talisman array was unfolded, and a large amount of clear spring gushed out from it. The clear spring turned into fine mist and fell on Xiao Wu. The fine mist poured into Xiao Wu's body, and Xiao Wu's physical body began to strengthen rapidly, quickly breaking through the God King realm, continuously improving, and quickly approaching the Soul realm. The two saints looked at each other again, and both of them saw a bitter taste in each other's eyes. Needless to say, this is Tianzuan's method, a backup plan prepared for Xiao Wu. As long as Xiao Wu breaks through to the little god, this backhand will be activated to help Xiao Wu break through. This kind of treatment has only been given to Xiao Lu throughout the ages. But before this was done, another rune flew out, also a containment array. The containment talisman array unfolded, and huge power of rules surged out of it. Vaguely, Xingzuan Wu and Xingzuan Tian saw a world of rules. The world of rules is very powerful, and the power of the rules makes the two of them breathless. The central temple was also constantly trembling due to the huge power of rules, as if it was about to collapse at any time. Countless formations in the temple began to operate, and the Human Emperor Network directly interfered with reality to help stabilize the temple. Saint Hao said in shock, "This is the training of rules." Tianzuan not only helped Xiao Wu improve her physical body, but also directly used the world of Supreme Realm rules to refine Xiao Xue. Tian Xingzun said, "This blessing is better than that of Xiao Yulin." In this era, the only person who can accept the training of the rules is Lin Moyu, and now there is another one. Xiao Wu was at a loss about this matter. She had entered a state of selflessness, and everything followed her feelings. Her whole body began to emit purple gold light. It was in such a passive state that Xiao Wu completed the cultivation of the purple gold body. Then, she slowly stood up, closed her eyes tightly, and stepped into the law galaxy. Like Lin Moyu, Xiao Wu directly entered the galaxy with her physical body and merged with the law of the galaxy, thereby leaping into the divine realm. Once successful, Xiao Wu will also become the second person in this era to perfectly enter the realm of God. Xiao Wu stood in the law galaxy, surrounded by a whirlpool. The whirlpool kept pulling at Xiao Wu, but Xiao Wu remained unmoved. Her breath was getting stronger, and she was moving towards God. Around her, there was a trace of power that did not belong to Xiao Wu, resisting the pull of the whirlpool. It was Tianzuan's power. Tianzuan had thought of everything for Xiao Wu. In just 1 hour, Xiao Xue completed the breakthrough, and her body began to be filled with the aura of the god. Advertisement. The laws of the galaxy are gradually solidifying, which means that Xiao Wu has officially stepped into the divine realm. At this time, another rune flew out and landed directly on Xiao Wu's eyebrows. Xiao Wu snorted lightly, sat down in the law galaxy, and continued her practice. The two saints could not understand this change at all and had no idea what was happening. If Lin Moyu were here, he would know that this last rune is the original inheritance rune created by the holy talisman Tianzuan. The inheritance talisman contains a complete inheritance, and Xiao Wu can accept this inheritance in a very short period of time. The law galaxy finally disappeared, and the central temple no longer shook or trembled. Xiao Wu cultivated from the third level of God King to the first level of God Lord in one go in 20 days. This speed is enough to scare countless people to death. The two saints looked at each other with shock, but also a lot of bitterness in their eyes. The more they looked at Xiao Wu, the more they felt that their lives were miserable. Tianzuan was really kind to Xiao Xue and prepared everything properly. It is conceivable that Xiao Wu's next practice will not be too slow. But this shows how terrifying their power is. That kind of method that is close to a miracle is simply not something that ordinary people can understand. It seems that they can create gods at will. It is no wonder that in ancient times, gods were not even qualified as cannon fodder. It doesn't matter what Lian Ku created casually. Wu Xingzhu sighed, "Don't think about it, we don't have this fate." Tian Xingzun said, "I'm not thinking about it, I'm just curious about what Xiao Wu's law is. I'll just ask when Xiao Wu wakes up, I'm curious too." After months of sailing, Lin Moyu finally arrived at his destination. This time I chose a small race in the edge area of the domain. The picture shows the Baisher tribe. In the big world, there are 12 races, all stone life forms, collectively called the stone race. Because they are all stone life forms, they stick to each other and form an alliance early. The most powerful among the Stone Clan is the Black Stone Clan, and the Black Stone Clan is also the leader of this stone alliance. There is a holy lord in the Black Stone Clan, a figure from the other shore, and together with the other shores from other stone races, the entire Stone Alliance can also be regarded as a strong race. But after all, it is just an alliance, which is different from a single race. The Baisher clan, the weakest among Lin Moyu's choices, also has no other side realm within the clan. Arriving at the edge of the Baisher tribe, Lin Moyu took back the battleship and looked at the starry sky of the Baisher tribe. There are white planets floating here. The planets are full of ores, not much metals, mostly stones. Many of these planets were snatched from the human race 100,000 years ago. While taking away the planet, the Baisher tribe also massacred many human races. The Baisher clan is not strong and has never been fishy since ancient times. However, the killings they caused were no less than those of other tribes. They only killed ordinary people. Stone people are generally very tall. In their eyes, humans are like elephants looking at ants. They don't take ants seriously at all and can crush many to death with one kick. Weak races just stare at the weak humans and kill them, which is also cruel. 'Cause has its reward. What you have sown will now bear fruit. The Demon Clan has set up barriers around each clan, and there are also Abyss Beholders monitoring me. I don't know if they can find me. Lin Moyu's heart moved, and a rune flew out of the treasure ship warehouse. The runes are extremely complex and are composed of several high-level runes fused together. The runes exploded and turned into a cloud of mist that enveloped Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu's figure gradually faded in the mist until the knife disappeared. Stealth symbol. Not simply invisible, but truly disappearing. There are countless lines of laws behind the big world. After using the concealment talisman, Lin Moyu hides in the laws. His breath, his soul fluctuations, and all movements are integrated with the laws. In this state, even if Lin Moyu makes a move, the other party may not be able to sense it. In the inheritance of Holy Talisman Tianzuan, the Concealment Talisman is an advanced rune, and its level of difficulty is second only to the Virtual Concealment Talisman. The Void Hidden Talisman is an ancient talisman, and Lin Moyu cannot draw it yet. After using the concealment talisman, Lin Moyu entered the Baishir tribe's territory and received the result arranged by the demon tribe. The barrier formed a bubble-like film in the starry sky, shrouding the entire White Stone clan within it. This huge barrier is actually made up of many smaller barriers put together. This time the demon clan spent a lot of money, and I don't know how many years of accumulation it took. The demon clan has really spent a lot of money to set up barriers for more than 100 races. It is impossible to set up barriers out of thin air. It requires a lot of manpower and material resources. Lin Moyu reached out and touched the barrier and passed through without any hindrance. There is no need to adjust the power frequency, because there are countless laws that pass through the barrier, and the barrier also exists based on these laws. Lin Moyu is now integrated with the law, and the barrier cannot stop him. There was no response from the barrier, nor did it sound an alarm. Lin Moyu entered the barrier and flew towards the nearest galaxy. This galaxy is not big, with only 1 star and 3 white planets. It is a small galaxy. The 3 planets are not divided into life stars and resource stars. For stone life forms, this kind of planet full of ores is the best living area for them. Even a tree-lined planet will be transformed into a planet of stones after falling into their hands. Lin Moyu did not feel the existence of the gods from it. The Baishir clan was not strong, and their number of gods was not large enough to be distributed in every galaxy. It may also be because they believe too much in the demon clan's barrier, so there are no gods in the edge galaxies. But for Lin Moyu, there is not much difference whether there is a god or not. In the dark starry sky, a rune suddenly flew out. This rune is extremely complex and 3-dimensional. Even if the god just takes a look at it, he will feel a headache. It's not an ancient talisman. Tianfeng is close to ancient times. If Xingzuan Fu, Xingzuan Wu, and others were present, they would be able to recognize that this rune is actually a talisman array, containing the talisman array. It's just that it's more refined and powerful than the containment talisman array Lin Moyu used before. After 1,200 years of retreat, Lin Moyu's understanding of runes and solutions to them have far surpassed those before. The containment talisman array has been continuously strengthened and improved, and now it has become stronger and stronger, and there are even signs of developing in the direction of ancient talismans. In the inheritance of Holy Talisman Tianzuan, it is clearly stated that any kind of talisman array can be continuously evolved and upgraded. In fact, many talisman formations were very weak when they were first created, and they evolved iteratively through continuous improvements. The final evolution and upgrading target of most talisman arrays is ancient talismans. But Holy Talisman Tianzuan did not tell Lin Moyu how to evolve those talisman arrays. He only provided the most basic talisman arrays in his inheritance. How to evolve and upgrade in the future requires the inheritor to think and do it himself. 10,000 talisman masters can draw a containment talisman array with 10,000 intensities. Each talisman master has his or her own specialty and generally chooses the direction in which he is good at upgrading and strengthening the talisman array. Just like every teacher, he hopes that his disciples can find their own way and truly excel. Lin Moyu also strengthened and upgraded the containment talisman array based on his own understanding and his own spells. The current containment array has a larger internal space and is stronger. Advertisement. Its internal space is like an independent world, fully capable of conducting a large-scale battle. After the containment talisman array flew out, it spread out silently in the starry sky, covering the entire galaxy. Then another rune flew out. This rune was a fusion rune composed of several high-level runes, called the mirror rune. Originally, it was to create a layer of mirror image, creating an illusion-like effect. After Lin Moyu's modification and upgrade, the mirror symbol can create a mirror image as large as a galaxy. Then the galaxy was swallowed up by the containment talisman array and disappeared, but the next second, another identical galaxy appeared. The original galaxy was put away and the mirror image took its place. On the surface, this galaxy still exists. At least that's how it looks from a distance. Looking at it from hundreds of millions of kilometers away, You can't see the changes in the galaxy at all. Only when you get closer will you find that the planets in the galaxy have stopped moving a long time ago. They became a static picture, motionless in the starry sky. In a distant place, a dark green flame burned blazingly. There was a huge eye in the flame, constantly sweeping the starry sky. It is the Abyss Demonica installed by the Demon Clan and the White Stone Clan, constantly monitoring the starry sky. The moment the containment talisman array took away the galaxy, he seemed to feel something and came over immediately. But by then the mirror symbol had already taken effect, and he didn't notice anything unusual. Through the Shimu ancestral tree, the top leaders of the human race already know all the trends of each race, and they also know the Abyss evil eyes arranged by the demon race among each race. Lin Moyu could naturally think of a way to crack it. The combination of the mirror talisman and the containment talisman array was the method he came up with. At this point, the effect is very good. In the galaxy collected by the containment talisman array, people seemed to feel something was wrong, but they could not tell what was wrong. Then, countless mist rose and spread rapidly. Where did the fog come from? Our planet doesn't even have water. How can there be fog? What is this? How can there be flames? In the mist, countless flames erupted and began to burn the earth and scorch life. Immediately afterwards, a large number of evil spirits from hell rushed over, opened their terrifying huge mouths, and tore the Baishar clansmen to pieces. Screams rang out and kept ringing in the containment space. From the moment they were shrouded in the hell of bones, these white stone tribesmen were destined to die and would never have any chance again. They cannot escape or send any information to the outside world. We can only struggle and tremble in hell, waiting for death to come. The evil spirits of hell tore their bodies into pieces, and the hell flames burned them into juice. Finally, they merged into the Hellfire River and became the nourishment of the Hellfire River. Too weak. Lin Moyu looked in his eyes with neither joy nor sadness. He didn't have any mood swings. This was not the first time he had done this. He watched death happen in his eyes, but in his mind he thought of his elder sister's stunning sword. Two siblings, the elder sister kills the saint, and the third one cuts off the cause and effect. This feeling is very strange. Do what you think is right. Repeating a sentence from her sister, Lin Moyu knew what she should do now. Bullying the weak and killing indiscriminately. In the face of the survival of the world's races, they are just a fart. A moment later, the white stone tribesmen in this galaxy were completely wiped out, and the star map was packed away by the containment circle. In the starry sky, the mirror image still exists and has not disappeared. The upgraded mirror symbol can last for many years. As long as no one comes close, no problems will be discovered. The first battle using the runes went very smoothly, and the demonic eye of the abyss was deceived. The demon's barrier also had no effect, just as Lin Moyu expected. The upgraded containment talisman array and the mirror talisman work perfectly together, and the effect is unexpectedly good. Then, Lin Moyu went to other galaxies, using the same method, packing up the galaxies again and again. From the beginning to the end, there was no reaction from the Abyss Demonic Eye. The Demon Clan's strongest monitoring method is useless in front of Lin Moyu. Once, Lin Moyu even flew millions of kilometers away from the Abyss Demonic Eye, but the Abyss Demonic Eye also did not detect Lin Moyu. The effect of the concealment talisman is quite good. Even the Abyss Demonic Eye, which the Demon Clan has always been proud of, has lost its effect. 1,000,000 kilometers is an extremely close distance in the starry sky. At his current speed, 50 million kilometers or 1,000,000 kilometers in one step is really nothing. In order to be able to monitor the entire star field, the Abyss Demonic Eye is located in the center of the White Stone Clan star field, far away from all galaxies, and the nearest one is hundreds of millions of kilometers away. At this distance, Lin Moyu felt that the Abyss Demonic Eye could not detect the mirror symbol at all. The fact was exactly what he thought. When he packed up the nearest galaxy and left the mirror talisman behind, there was still no reaction from the Abyss Eye. This made Lin Moyu feel more at ease, and his movements gradually became bolder and faster. While Lin Moyu was taking action, the 100 Clans Alliance was also gathering. They planned to attack the humans again. After 20 years of rest and repeated battles with the humans, their momentum finally recovered. The most important thing is that the true form of the Abyss Demon Lord finally arrived on the battlefield 5 years ago. The Abyss Demon Lord said that he had been refining a magic weapon before, so he had been using the first clone. Now that the Abyss Demon Lord has arrived, it means that the magic weapon has been completely refined, and the Abyss Demon Lord's combat power should also be greatly increased. It is still the battlefield in the Suzaku Star territory, and the army of the 100 Clans Alliance has begun to gather again. Several saints who were fighting with the human race in other star regions also came one after another. The number of saints in the 100 Tribes Alliance has increased to 5. The Demon Clan includes the Abyss Demon Lord and the Lava Demon Lord. In addition to the Black Gold Saint from the Golden Eagle Tribe, another Dark Gold Saint came over. The Bull Demon Tribe is still the Blood Bull Saint, and his injuries have healed. Last time, he was cut off half of his body by the Sword Master, and his soul also suffered some damage. He has been recovering from his injuries, and now he has finally recovered. The 5 saints, with hundreds of people from the other side, and an army of 1 billion, began to gather again. The fighting spirit was boiling on the battlefield, and the unusual aura could be felt for several light years away. The alliance of hundreds of races seemed to stand up again wherever they fell. Their actions were naturally controlled by the human race, who also took action accordingly. A large number of troops came for reinforcements. Compared to the alliance of hundreds of races, the human army is even more powerful. Over the years, the human race has won more and lost less. Training with hundreds of tribes, both morale and combat power have been greatly improved. There are many more gods in the army, and many minor gods have been successfully promoted to gods. There are even peak gods who realize it in battle and achieve breakthroughs half a step to the other side. They embarked on a bloody road to the other side, using the power of the battlefield to kill, helping themselves to cross the galaxy and reach the other side. After years of wars, the human race not only did not become weaker, but became stronger with each war. This also made all races feel the horror of the human race. Many people felt that if they could not destroy the human race 100,000 years ago, it would be impossible to destroy the human race now. Both sides are preparing for the war that will break out soon. And Lin Moyu has left the White Stone Clan silently and gone to the star domain of another stone life race, the Earth Stone Clan. The Earth Stone Clan is slightly stronger than the White Stone Clan, but only a little bit, and the force is limited. There are more people and more gods, but there is also no other shore. In Lin Moyu's opinion, except for the most powerful Black Stone tribe, all the stone life groups are pretty much the same. If you want to crush them to death, it won't take much effort. The only exception is the Blackstone Clan. There are 3 other shore realms in the Blackstone Clan, and he doesn't want to provoke them yet. After he left the Baishur clan, Lin Moyu unexpectedly discovered that the aura of enlightenment had not arrived. Lin Moyu realized that not all the Baishur people were dead, and a large number of Baishur people went to the front line. As long as they are still alive, the cause and effect of the big world will not be cut off, and naturally they will not receive rewards. It seems that I have to go to the battlefield again. But before that, let's accumulate a little more. Lin Moyu thought for a while, and a rune flew out of the treasure ship warehouse. Over a period of 1,200 years, the treasure ship warehouse was filled with runes, and the number was difficult to count. There are all kinds of runes. Lin Moyu only needs to have a thought to use them directly without drawing the runes again. This was also one of the fighting methods of talisman masters in ancient times. Otherwise, the battle would change rapidly and there would be no time to draw the talisman on the spot. Unless you can achieve what Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord said, a single thought can give rise to 10,000 talisman. This is a legendary realm that even Holy Talisman Tianzuan himself has not fully reached, let alone others. After the rune flew out, it stuck to the center of Lin Moyu's eyebrows, and a stream of consciousness passed in. Then the rune turned into a sharp sword and disappeared in a flash of light. This rune is called the Flying Sword Talisman, and it is not used for fighting, but for conveying information. The speed of the Flying Sword Talisman is extremely fast. Depending on the level of the rune maker, there is almost no limit to the speed. The Flying Sword Talisman can not only transmit your own information, but also bring it back. In ancient times, many talisman masters used flying sword talismans to exchange information, which was extremely efficient. Compared with Renhuang network, each has its own advantages and disadvantages. Lin Moyu did not wait for the flying sword talisman, but once again sneaked into the Earth and Stone Clan star field and began to cut off the cause and effect. Just one day later, on the battlefield in the Suzaku Star territory, a faint light flashed and jumped, entered the human camp, and then appeared in front of Fu Xingzuan. Saint Fu just arrived here a few days ago, and with him was Saint Killer. As for the human race, there are Sword Saint, War Saint, Killer Saint, Fu Saint, plus Lin Mohan. 837. The combat power of the 5 saints is also comparable to that of the alliance of hundreds of tribes. Seeing the flying sword talisman that suddenly appeared, Fu Xingzuan was a little stunned. Because of the existence of the Human Emperor Network, there are very few people who can use sword talismans to communicate with each other nowadays. He took the flying sword talisman, and Lin Moyu's voice immediately sounded in his mind. Sage Fu, may I ask which battlefield the Stone Tribe is located on? Fu Xingzuan did not expect that the flying sword talisman came from Lin Moyu, and was slightly surprised, but he knew what Lin Moyu was doing as soon as he thought about it. Indeed, given Lin Moyu's location and unable to contact the Human Emperor Network, using the Flying Sword Talisman is indeed the best way. And with Lin Moyu's level of runes, the speed of the Flying Sword runes will be extremely astonishing. Immediately he injected the information he knew into the Flying Sword Talisman, and the Flying Sword Talisman disappeared in an instant. Saint Killer saw this scene and asked in a low voice, "What happened?" Fu Xingzuan said, "It's Xiao Yulin who came to ask for a piece of information. I've already given it to him. How are you preparing this time?" The Killing Saint sneered, "Don't worry, you will see how I kill the Black Gold Saint." Saint Fu said, "Although Saint Black Gold lost to Saint War last time, he is actually very strong because of the War God Spear." Killing Saint said, "If it were in the past, I might not be as good as him. But now, I can definitely kill him." He turned his head slightly and looked behind him. Behind him, there was a vague mist floating, and a faint cold light flashed in the mist. In the Earth and Stone Tribe star field, the same thing as the White Stone Tribe is happening. Galaxies are disappearing silently. The Abyss Demon I deployed in his star field was not noticed at all. The seemingly peaceful galaxy has already undergone tremendous changes. Lin Moyu's movements were extremely fast, taking away galaxies and annihilating them. 2 days later, the Flying Sword Talisman flashed by and returned to Lin Moyu's hands, bringing back the required information. After Lin Moyu read it, he felt confident. It turns out that the Stone Race has all gone to the battlefield in the White Tiger Star territory, and the distance is not too far. There will be another battle in the Suzaku Star territory. Both sides are reorganizing their armies. The time is expected to be 1 year from now. Both sides in this war invested a large amount of troops, resulting in the battlefields of the other 3 parties being relatively empty. The Holy Lords must have all left. It is estimated that there are at most 1 or 2 left in the other shore realm. It seems that I will also take this opportunity to kill the cause and effect. A year is very short, and there is not much time left for Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu had already hatched a plan in his mind. He used the Flying Sword Talisman again to ask about other things. Acting alone has the advantage of acting alone. The target is small, free, and difficult to be discovered. But similarly, there are disadvantages to acting alone. Without intelligence support, many things will go wrong. Fortunately, with the Flying Sword Talisman, I can quickly get information from Xingzuan Fu. After issuing the Flying Sword Talisman several times in a row, Lin Moyu's plan became complete. A month later, Lin Moyu left the Earth and Stone clan and went to the Yellowstone clan. He still did it quietly and did not cause any waves. 6 months later, Lin Moyu left the Stone clan. At this time, 5 groups had been wiped out by him silently. But on the surface, the galaxy is still intact, and the Abyss Demonici has not noticed anything. Perhaps it was because the front lines were preparing for a war, and the attention of all races was focused on the Suzaku Star territory, and no one paid attention to what was happening at the rear. None of these people knew that their homes had been robbed. As the war approaches, the fighting intensity on the other 3 battlefields has been greatly reduced. Lin Moyu entered another race, the Sand Clan. The Sand Clan and the Stone Clan are somewhat similar, but they are not the same. The Sand Clan was also subdivided into several small races. Lin Moyu selected a few weak races and wiped them out. The races he selected all have one thing in common: their troops are all deployed in the White Tiger Star territory. After wiping out the 2 Sand tribes, I did not receive the Great World Rune reward because I did not kill them all. Lin Moyu was not in a hurry. He left the Sand Clan and went to another race. 1 year passed quickly, and a head-on war broke out again between the alliance of hundreds of races and the human race. On the battlefield 100 light-years away from the Suzaku Star territory, the armies of both sides squared off aggressively. Although the human race is at a disadvantage in terms of numbers, their momentum can crush the opponent. Several saints faced each other from a distance, and they locked their opponents respectively. The Abyss Demon Lord looked at Lin Mohan with a sneer. "Last time you killed my clone, this time I want to kill you." Lin Mohan's voice was pleasant to the ear, but it was as crisp as a sharp sword slashing down. "This time you will be a new person." The Demon Lord of the Abyss laughed heartily and unbridledly. "Okay, let me see how capable you are." The Sword Saint once again faced the Blood Ox Saint, but this time the Blood Ox Saint seemed to be prepared. He had prepared a suit of armor, which looked very extraordinary. The War Saint changed his opponent, and the Dark Gold Saint of the Golden Eagle tribe took the initiative to target him. The Killing Saint locked the Black Gold Saint, and the Fu Saint faced the Lava Demon Lord. The Saints allocate their opponents on their own, and the war is about to break out. On the other side, 70 light-years away from the White Tiger Star territory, is also the military garrison of the 100 Races Alliance. Compared to the Vermilion Bird Star territory, it is much calmer here, and the number is much smaller. A large amount of military power was transferred to the Zhuke battlefield, and the number of troops left here was less than 100 million. And the strength is relatively weak. Most of them are god kings, and the gods are less than 10,000. There are only 2 other shore realms. At this time, most of their attention was also focused on the Suzaku battlefield. For the alliance of hundreds of clans, the situation on the Suzaku battlefield was extremely important. The last defeat greatly damaged their morale, and it took many years for them to recover. If we lose again this time, the consequences are unimaginable, and the alliance may be in turmoil as a result. After all, each tribe has its own thoughts, and it is impossible for everyone to work together like the human race. While they were waiting, the alarm suddenly sounded. The barriers were activated automatically, and the warships opened fire at the same time. Whoosh whoosh! Countless vines whipped down, and the barriers were shattered. Countless warships were torn to pieces by the vines, and a large number of soldiers from the 100 Clans Alliance died on the spot. What's this? Oh my God, what a big tree! Why is space blocked? A 1,000,000-meter-tall tree appeared in the starry sky. The big tree appeared suddenly without any warning. After he appeared, the attack also came, giving the alliance of hundreds of clans no chance to react. The terrifying aura of the other shore realm filled the starry sky, and those who were not as powerful as the gods there were trembling and unable to move under the pressure of the aura of the other shore realm. Even the god is extremely uncomfortable. Many people's instinctive reaction is to run away, but when the giant tree comes, the space has been blocked and there is no way to escape. Asshole, it's a giant tree in the starry sky. Why did he come here and why did he attack us? 2 loud shouts were heard, and the two people from the other side came out to fight. The giant tree in the starry sky rolled up countless vines and whipped them towards the two of them. The vines shattered the starry sky and arrived in an instant, sending the two of them flying away. Both are in the other side realm, and the starry sky giant tree's combat power is better than most other shore realms. Only some strong men in the other side realm are qualified to compete with the giant tree in the starry sky. As soon as they met, they were suppressed by the giant tree in the starry sky, unable to fight back. Countless vines surrounded them, and there was despair in their eyes, feeling that death was coming. The two other shore realms come from two different races. They were stationed here and did not participate in the battle in the Suzaku Star territory. Originally, they were lucky. After all, in a battle of that level, it was normal for people to die in battle in the other side realm. Last time, several people died in the other shore realm. But who would have thought that the giant tree in the starry sky would suddenly descend and launch a fatal attack as soon as it arrived? The other shore realm is suppressed, and the rest are even worse. The deity is completely unable to block the attack of the giant tree in the starry sky. Even the peak deity can only hold on for a short while. Those low-level gods were almost killed instantly. In just a few minutes, the entire garrison was completely dispersed, and everyone fled as if desperate. Unfortunately, the space is blocked, and now we can only compete with Nuo Zhao Zhao, who can fly faster. Mist emerged out of thin air, covering tens of billions of kilometers of starry sky silently. The flames of hell continued to boil, and the evil spirits of hell were raging in the starry sky. Hundreds of millions of evil spirits from hell came out, eating up all the people in the alliance of hundreds of races, leaving no one behind. Lin Moyu appeared in the starry sky, looking at this scene with cold eyes. On his body, there is the breath of the original magic. He resurrected the dead and revived the giant trees in the starry sky. With his level, it may trigger resistance from the giant tree in the starry sky. However, Lin Moyu thought of a way. He first used his original magic to forcibly raise his level to the peak of the gods. In this state, the probability of resistance of the giant tree in the starry sky is reduced to the lowest level. The giant tree in the starry sky did not resist and became a resurrector. Then the starry sky giant tree took the lead to see if it could suppress the two garrisoned other shores. Also check to see if there are any hidden calendar areas. The starry sky giant tree did not disappoint him and easily suppressed the two other shore realms. The skeleton hell follows up and forms a decisive blow. The army of 100 million was slaughtered in less than an hour and became the nourishment of the hell of bones. Only the two other shore realms were left, still struggling under the attack of the giant tree in the starry sky, but they couldn't hold on for long. Lin Moyu stood in the starry sky, and a strange aura descended. The rewards of the Great World Runes have arrived, and they are more brilliant than any other time. The rewards this time were different from the past. In 1 year, Lin Moyu had erased 10 races, and now the rewards were merged into one and came together. The aura of enlightenment is more than 10 times stronger than before. Lin Moyu knew that he was about to enter the state of enlightenment, which might last for a while. He quickly gave the final instructions to the giant tree in the starry sky, then took out the battleship and entered the deep space. Look at the people's health. Within seconds of entering the battleship, Lin Moyu fell into a state of enlightenment. Without the influence of Dao poison, the effect of enlightenment this time was very good, and the understanding of the laws of time and space deepened rapidly. On the battlefield of the White Tiger Star territory, the two people from the other side screamed almost at the same time, breaking through the giant net in the starry sky and strangling them. The giant tree in the starry sky weaved a large and airtight net, carrying the two broken corpses and disappearing according to Lin Moyu's instructions. The starry sky where hundreds of millions of troops were stationed before was now empty and filled with deathly silence. In the distant starry sky, a group of emerald green flames suddenly lit up, reflecting in the demon eye. There was incredible horror in the demon's eyes, and screams were heard at the same time. At the same time, the White Stone Tribe, the Earth Stone Tribe, and the Sand Tribe. In each galaxy, the mirror symbols dissipated at the same time, revealing the true state of the starry sky, accompanied by the sharp screams of the abyss demonic eye. On the other side, on the Suzaku battlefield, Yuan Du and the Fire Army were ready. He roared angrily, "This is impossible." When the battle was about to begin, the roar of the Demon Lord of the Abyss was too abrupt. Everyone looked over, and the Lava Demon Lord asked, "What's wrong?" The abyss fire on the Abyss Demon Lord's body surged even more fiercely, indicating that he was very excited at the moment. The Abyss Demon Lord made a low voice and gritted his teeth, "Nothing." Several saints saw it in their eyes and knew that something must be wrong. However, in the current war, but in the midst of the great battle, there was no time to discuss it further. At this time, Xingzuan Fu suddenly laughed and said, "Your defenders in the White Tiger Star territory have been destroyed." As soon as these words came out, the Alliance army suddenly panicked. Many people in the army came from the White Tiger Star territory. When they heard this, 3 or 4 of them showed disbelief. The Demon Lord of the Abyss roared angrily, "Don't listen to his nonsense, prepare to fight." Abyssal Demon Lord rolled his eyes, roared violently, as his fists collided, unleashing a raging flame that swept across the starry sky. Fu Xingzuan waved his hand, and ancient runes evolved into galaxies, countless waves swallowing the flames. As soon as the two of them take action, it also means that the war begins. The human army roared, shaking the stars. The formation techniques intertwined and launched a fierce attack. The humans fought very fiercely, regardless of defense, and used their strength to defeat the enemy. The alliance of hundreds of tribes fought back at the same time, but they were from different races and fought on their own. In the other side of the world, they each found their opponents and fought thousands of miles apart. The saints are farther away, and the aftermath of their battle is not something ordinary soldiers can bear. The Demon Lord of the Abyss faced Lin Mohan again, his third encounter since the previous severing of his avatar. "Last time you cut down my clone, this time I will cut the body into thousands of pieces." Lin Mohan's expression was cold, her beauty contained murderous intent, "I'll kill you again today." Drawing Tianchuang from her back into her hand, breaking the distance of a blink of an eye. In an instant, sword light fell into the starry sky, and the starry sky was suddenly illuminated. Original fire. The Abyss Demon Lord roared, and the abyss fire on his body boiled rapidly. At the same time, a touch of purple appeared in the abyss fire. The aura of the Abyss Demon Lord rose sharply, and it continued to increase over time. With the addition of the original spell, the Abyss Demon Lord's combat power is at least doubled. Lin Mohan frowned slightly, the original power. The Demon Lord of the Abyss laughed loudly, "You have some knowledge. I will slowly burn you to death in a while and turn everything into ashes, reducing you to nothing." He took out something similar to a skull in his hand. This thing exuded an ancient atmosphere and had traces of time. Flames came out of the skull's eyes, looking extremely angry. Seeing the skull, the eyebrows tightened even more. The skull in the hands of the Abyss Demon Lord is an ancient magic weapon, and its level is very likely to have surpassed that of the Holy Lord and reached the supreme level. Previously, the Abyss Demon Lord was trying to refine it, so the main body could not move and could only let the clone move around outside. He had been refining this magic weapon for many years, preparing it for this moment. The Abyss Demon Lord sneered, "You're as good as dead." Lin Mohan didn't say anything, and simply slashed out with his sword. Technique, cut through the air with one sword. The sword light swept across the world, and several saints nearby felt the terror of the sword light, and their skins ached. On the other side, hundreds of millions of kilometers away, everyone is spitting out blood. Even though they are hundreds of millions of miles apart, they are still injured by the light of the sword. Some gods who were farther away from the battlefield managed to escape the attack unscathed. Laughing heartily, one of them said, "I knew it would be like this. We've made a fortune this time." Those in the other side realm who were injured by the sword light were all newcomers who had just arrived this time. As long as they had experience from the last encounter, they kept as far away as possible this time. with Lin Mohan's sword had returned to her hand, causing fear to spread among her enemies. The Abyss Demon Lord sneered again and again, activating the skull in his hand. The skull suddenly burst into flames, and a skull that was at least 1,000,000 meters tall appeared in the starry sky. The skull is spitting out green flames, jumping deep into the sky. The sword light was quickly dissipated by the flame's smile. The Demon Lord of the Abyss laughed loudly. The supreme magic weapon is really powerful. Really? What's so powerful about a broken skeleton? Lin Mohan sneered and pointed at the monster with the tip of his sword. To be more precise, the tip of the sword pointed to the undead skull in the hands of the Abyss Demon Lord. The heaven and earth sword buzzed, and the tip of the sword lit up with a faint light. Boom! The undead skull exploded on the spot, and the huge skeleton in the starry sky exploded at the same time. The flames that were originally spitting out rolled back and fell on the Abyss demons and others. How could this happen? The Abyssal Demon Lord was stunned for half a second, not knowing what had just happened. Immediately after, a terrifying explosion swallowed him. Boom! Crash! The booming sound continued as the pressure continued to escalate. The Abyss demons and others were originally enveloped by the fire of the Abyss, but now a new flame swept over them. The two flames were simply incompatible. Like cold water falling into deep oil, a violent reaction immediately broke out. Abyss Demon Shan screamed and was obviously injured in the explosion. Amid the screams, the other shore beings in the vicinity looked on in shock. His world of rules emerged. His world of rules was deep and dark, with fires of the Abyss everywhere. The fire of the Abyss pours from the world of rules. The Abyss Demon Lord uses his own fire of rules to suppress the flames of the undead skeleton. How could Lin Mohan give him a chance? She threw a pill into her mouth, quickly restoring her depleted energy. The sword light lit up again, accompanied by Lin Mohan's shout. Sword strike through the void. In the world of the Abyssal Demon Lord, the abyssal fire erupted more violently, intertwining with the primordial fire, and combined with the flames after the explosion of the undead skeleton, forming a tricolored fireworks display. The tricolored fireworks were beautiful, but unfortunately incompatible and unable to reconcile. Explosions continued, causing immense pain to the Abyssal Demon Lord. Wails and roars intertwined, forming a voice of extreme anguish. Just then, Lin Mohan's sword arrived. Sword chi swept across the sky, shattering the entire space, even annihilating the chaotic currents in the deep space. This sword crossed the spatial barrier, shattered the space, and directly struck the world barrier, causing it to shimmer brightly. The Abyssal Demon Lord screamed as one treasure after another flew out of the rule world, evolving into boundless demonic realms in the starry sky. However, it was futile. Wherever the sword light went, the demonic aura was extinguished one after another. Each treasure shattered in the starry sky, unable to withstand it. The Abyssal Demon Lord quickly retreated, his pain making the world as solid as a fungus. The Rule World was the strongest trump card of the Holy Lord, only to be used in desperate times, with unparalleled power, even serving as an excellent shield effect. The sword chi bombarded the Rule World, causing numerous cracks to appear in the Abyssal Demon Lord's Rule World, spewing countless abyssal fires, covering millions of miles of starry sky. The starry sky was dyed sacred green, covering everything as if to obscure the stars. The nearby ancestral realm was shocked to witness this scene, feeling that if they were in the midst of the fire, they might not last long. But Lin Mohan stood calmly amidst the flames. She held a sharp sword, her sword intent dispersing into a ball of light, protecting her without any signs of disturbance. The sword light illuminated, and Lin Mohan struck again, her sword intent terrifying enough to divide the sea, cutting the sea of fire in half. Another scream, the sea of fire exploded, and the abyssal fire exploded in all directions. The faces of the ancestral realm changed drastically, shouting urgently, "Trap the witch!" Even if a bit of the abyssal fire touched them, they would suffer severe burns. Lin Mohan could ignore it, but these ancestral realms couldn't. They fled one after another. Lin Mohan extinguished the sea of fire with one sword, her gaze still calm, murmuring to herself, escaping is but a temporary solution. The abyssal demon lord fled, fleeing quickly, extremely embarrassed, not even able to let out a grunt. At this moment, Lin Mohan reached out, a few drops of blood flew over and fell into her hands. These drops of blood contained immense power, just like the eyes of a storm. The abyssal demon lord did indeed escape, but he was also injured. This was his blood. Lin Mohan collected the blood, her gaze icy. Next time, I will surely slay you. After defeating the abyssal demon lord, Lin Mohan did not move, her surface-closed eyes stubborn. Although it seemed effortless to discern a few swords, in reality, she had already expended much of her strength. The other holy lords who were still in battle all showed expressions of astonishment. They never imagined that the abyssal demon lord would be defeated so thoroughly and swiftly. Originally, they were still hoping that after the abyssal demon lord killed Lin Mohan, they could take advantage of the situation. Now it seems that the situation has completely reversed. Fortunately, Lin Mohan did not move after defeating the abyssal demon lord, apparently due to exhausting her strength. Tian, who was fighting against the Saint of Symbols, suddenly roared in anger, his body trembling violently. Rocky's clone. His body split into three, with his main body still battling the Saint of Symbols, while the two clones that split off flew swiftly towards Lin Mohan. Taking advantage of Lin Mohan's moment of rest, the other saints were eager to take action. In the eyes of the holy lords, no matter how strong Lin Mohan's attacks were, she was only an ancestral realm. Without her rule world, killing her would not be difficult. Although Tian was not good at speed, he was still a holy lord, and his demeanor was not to be underestimated. The Saint of Symbols coldly snorted, I already anticipated this. An ancient symbol flew out, intercepting the clone of the lava demon lord that had chased after it. The ancient symbol evolved the world, turning into 6 powerful warriors, temporarily stopping the clone of Rocky. Although the 6 ancient symbol warriors were not as powerful as the clone, their numbers were enough to hold them back for a while. At this moment, a silent black golden light suddenly appeared, crossing billions of miles of starry sky and arriving next to Lin Mohan. The black golden saint had arrived, but it wasn't his main body, it was a clone. Be careful. The roar of the Saint of Killing was slower than the appearance of the clone of the black golden saint, and it was only now that it rang out. It's too late. The Saint of Symbols narrowed his eyes, his fear evident. He could see that the surprise attack came from a treasure of the black golden saint. This treasure could transform into the appearance of the black golden saint, possessing some of his combat power for a certain period. At this moment, a long spear suddenly appeared beside Lin Mohan, the war god's spear appearing abruptly. The black golden saint was torn apart by the war god's spear, reverting back into a treasure and swiftly flying back. The war god's spear also flickered for a moment, returning to the hands of the Saint of War. Holding the war god's spear, he resembled an ancient war god, his expression ice cold. Stealing chickens and dogs, none of this is part of the plan. The dark golden saint, who was fighting against him, coldly snorted, you should take care of yourself first. He exploded with a dark golden light, and in the starry sky, a golden eagle appeared, spreading its wings, spanning tens of millions of kilometers. The golden eagle flapped its wings, shooting out countless golden lights. Each golden light was as sharp as an arrow, sharp and unparalleled, enough to burst stars. The Saint of War had just now saved Lin Mohan, allowing the war god's spear to traverse through space, which also consumed quite a bit of energy. Facing the attack of the golden eagle, the Saint of War swallowed a pill, the war god's spear positioned above his head, ready to fend off any attacks. With the war god's spear in hand, the Saint of War was not afraid of the dark golden saint. However, the dark golden saint's strength was slightly stronger than that of the black golden saint, and the two sides were somewhat deadlocked in their battle. At this moment, the sword saint suddenly shouted, "Be careful!" Among the myriad golden lights, some suddenly changed direction and flew towards Lin Mohan. These golden lights gathered together, forming a small, shining golden eagle. By the time they noticed, it was already closing in. The Saint of Symbols widened his eyes, but he was too late to lend a helping hand now. The Saint of Killing's body dissipated into nothingness, activating the power of the rules, and rushed towards Lin Mohan at an incredible speed. Perhaps only his speed could save Lin Mohan now. A mocking laughter rang out, and the starry sky suddenly brightened, enveloped in a golden glow. The Saint of Killing's figure appeared, pressing down with incomparable pressure. The Black Golden Saint sneered, "Your opponent is me, Saint of Killing. We haven't had enough yet. Get lost." The Saint of Killing wielded his dagger. He unleashed his own rule world, ready to fight desperately. The Black Golden Saint didn't want to fight the Saint of Killing head-on. After flapping his wings to retreat, his face suddenly changed, followed by a miserable scream. A huge wound suddenly appeared on his wings, almost tearing through. What's terrifying is that he didn't know where the attack came from. The Saint of Killing sneered, "Then I'll kill you first." The Golden Eagle arrived in front of Lin Mohan, but it could not reverse the situation. Lin Mohan remained closed-eyed, seemingly unaware. At this moment, the Heaven and Earth sword emitted a crisp sword cry, causing the heavens and earth to invert, and the starry sky to reverse. The Golden Eagle suddenly lost its direction and ended up in front of Lin Mohan, seemingly indifferent to its impending doom. At the same time, a sword light descended and directly struck the Golden Eagle, instantly annihilating it. The Heaven and Earth sword rapidly rotated around Lin Mohan, firmly protecting her. This scene fell into the eyes of everyone present, leaving them astonished. The treasure has spirit, automatically protecting its master. No wonder she dares to rest assured on the battlefield, relying on her treasure. What kind of sword is this? Its power seems immense, at least capable of breaking through the defenses of a saint. Chapter 2135, Take a shot from me and that's it. Several human saints breathed a sigh of relief at the same time. Lin Mohan has a magic treasure to protect himself, wondering if they should worry about someone launching a sneak attack. Especially the Sword Saint, who then thought of the sword in Lin Mohan's hand, secretly saying, "With the Heaven and Earth sword to protect me, there's really no need to worry." However, the expressions of the saints from the 100 Races Alliance were extremely unpleasant. They also did not expect that Lin Mohan would have such a powerful magic treasure to protect himself, glaring and roundly condemning the hidden difficulties. Screams rang out again. The Black Gold Saint did not know when he was struck by the sword again, and another wound appeared on his body. The injury was not serious, it could only be considered a superficial wound, but he had not been able to find the opponent. The Killing Saint unleashed his own world of rules, a dark fog enveloping the starry sky, pressuring the area with its darkness. No one could see clearly the world of rules of the Killing Saint. It was completely enveloped by black fog, and no one knew what was inside. The Black Gold Saint was engulfed by the black fog, and then a golden light like a constant star rose in the black fog. The Black Gold Saint utilized his world of rules, in the midst of the golden light, showing a willingness to reveal a clean area. Suddenly, a terrifying person appeared before him, unknown when Lin Mohan appeared before him, raising the Heaven and Earth sword, slashing towards him. The air was filled with sword energy, as if to engulf him. The Black Gold Saint screamed and retreated, then suddenly felt pain in his back, followed by warmth. The Black Gold Saint was blown away, a large hole appearing in his chest. The entire person from back to front was completely shattered, all organs were pulverized. The Black Gold Saint then realized there was no Lin Mohan, it was just an illusion. Lin Mohan still stood far away, resting without moving. The Killing Saint also did not know how the illusion was created, even he was confused. Then, the black fog spread over again, intending to engulf. The Black Gold Saint felt fear, dared not continue fighting, and screamed before fleeing far away. Roars echoed in the starry sky, the War God Spear tore through the Dark Gold Saint's techniques. The War Saint unleashed his world of rules, revealing a position of considerable respect in the star chart. The appearance of the War God was exactly like Xiao Zhan Tian. The War Saint constructed his own world of rules based on Xiao Zhan Tian. His world of rules was the war god Xiao Zhan Tian, once the nightmare of all races. The water of myriad colors flew out, causing panic in the area. At this moment, the war saint was like the reincarnation of Shao Zhan Tian. He raised the war god spear, and instantly in the starry sky, a terrifyingly large spear of thousands of meters evolved, carrying the momentum of piercing through heaven and earth, stabbing towards the dark gold saint. The dark gold saint also unleashed his own world of rules, resisting with all his might but still showing signs of desperation. In the midst of the blazing golden flames, but facing the war god spear, his world of rules showed countless cracks. The dark gold saint screamed, turning into a streak of light, retreating quickly, escaping billions of kilometers in the blink of an eye. His eyes filled with terror, but the war god spear broke through space, following closely. He screamed again, instantly disappearing without a trace. Another streak of light fled far away. The black gold saint also escaped, his voice echoing through the starry sky. Retreat! The lava saint and the blood bull saint retreated at the same time. A retreat by the saints meant the 100 Races Alliance was defeated again. Last time, the human race did not pursue. But this time, the sword saint issued an order to pursue with all their might. Kill! The human army, with a momentum like a rainbow, crushed over. Several saints also simultaneously attacked the other shore. This time, they wanted to fight to their heart's content. The 100 Races Alliance was not like the human race, originally disunited, and now even more defeated, like a mountain collapsing, each escaping quickly. More than 1 billion troops fleeing, causing extreme chaos. The human race pursued all the way, leaving countless bodies behind. In this chaotic situation, the 100 Races Alliance's other shore tried to draw the battle into the area of ordinary soldiers, to use this as a threat to limit the human race's attack. But they couldn't do it. The starry sky was completely in chaos, the teams scattered and fleeing, wanting to press but not able to gather together. And this time, the human race also made up their mind. Even if it cost them, they would pursue to the end. The death toll of the 100 Races Alliance kept increasing. The starry sky turned into a sea of corpses, impossible to count. Pursuing for billions of miles, the sight was devastating. More than 100 planets formed a special formation in the starry sky. In the center of the planets floated a huge palace. This was the headquarters of the 100 Races Alliance, showing a desperate situation. There were still some defending troops in the headquarters, but these defenders were now panicking. The soldiers fleeing back, one by one with terror, their emotions also infecting them. Everyone knew this battle was lost again, and lost badly. From afar, they saw the strong army of the human race chasing. Some cowardly defenders screamed, joining the fleeing ranks, not even caring about the headquarters anymore. Stop! At a distance of 1,000,000 kilometers from the 100 Races Alliance headquarters, the Sword Saint suddenly issued an order. The human soldiers, obedient to orders, immediately stopped. On the battlefield, the command of the Sword Saint was the highest directive, not to be questioned. The palace in the center of the 100 Races Alliance emitted light, the light forming countless lines, connecting over 100 planets into one. A barrier naturally formed, with the face of a demon appearing on it. Devil Lord! The Sword Saint's voice was coldly watching that demon face. The demon face was the Devil Lord, also the foundation of the demon race, like the ancient stars, a terrifying existence almost at the supreme level. The Devil Lord said in a low voice, "You guys have lost this round." The Sword Saint sneered, "You shouldn't have come out." The Devil Lord said, "But I still came." The meaning was clear, I came anyway, regardless of the consequences. At this moment, the War Saint arrived with his world of rules, like the reincarnation of Shao Zhan Tian, towering and imposing. The War Saint said coldly, "Take my spear, and let's end it here." The Devil Lord replied softly, "Okay." The water of myriad colors and the power of belief burned together, pushing this spear to its limit. The giant evolved from the world of rules, took the war god spear, turning into a spear of thousands of meters, and stabbed out. The starry sky shattered with a bang, the war god spear carrying the might of world destruction, creating a tremendous impact. The Devil Lord roared, spewing dual-colored flames from his mouth. The abyssal fire and hellfire merged together, forming the true flames of the devil. The flames also turned into a long spear, clashing in the air. In a tremendous explosion, planets burst one after another, instantly turning 10 planets into dust, with at least hundreds of thousands from the 100 Races Alliance dying on the spot. The shadow of the war god spear and the devil flames extinguished together, no victor determined. The devil lord's voice slowly rose. Your spear now holds 30% of Xiao Zhantian's power from back then, but to confront me, you still fall short. The war saint retracted his world of rules, his face pale, all his power exhausted in that one spear. Swallowing a pill, the war saint said, "The devil lord is indeed formidable. This battle ends here. If you wish to fight again, my human race will accompany you to the end." After speaking, the situation became tense, but not beyond control. The sword saint loudly said, "Retreat." Along the way, the human race gathered the bodies. Here, the weakest are all god kings, slightly stronger are god emperors. The bodies of the different races can also be valuable, usable for alchemy and refining tools. At the same time, the bodies of fallen comrades within the human race also need to be collected and revived properly. Lin Mohan has also finished recuperating. Although his strength has not fully recovered, it has stabilized. Returning to the human race's residence, the sword saint ordered to tally the casualties. The war saint looked somewhat embarrassed as he glanced at the sword saint. "I've taken the liberty to make a decision for you, to relieve your burden." The sword saint shook his head. "It's fine, it should have stopped long ago. But even if you didn't intervene, I would have tried to confront the demon lord myself." The war saint said, "The demon lord is indeed powerful. I struck with all my might, but he easily blocked it. He's truly extraordinary even as a half-step supreme being." Just now, the blow from the war saint woke him up completely. The waters of 10,000 colors and the power of faith had already been used, yet they still couldn't do anything to the demon lord. This isn't even the true form of the demon lord, just a force he sent through the barrier, and the difference in strength is indeed considerable. It's precisely because of the demon lord's presence that Lu Jinsha was able to defeat Li Hozheng. The sword saint said, "I wanted to test him before as well, but now it seems his power far surpasses both you and me. Only the old man can compare." The killing saint said, "Back then, one of the reasons the war god didn't destroy the demon clan was because of the demon lord. The events of that year were very secretive, only a few saints knew about it, but their emotions weren't very involved. If anyone in the human race knows the ins and outs of the whole thing, it's only the old man and the human emperor. But they are aware that Xiao Zhantian originally intended to wipe out the demon clan, but in the end, he failed because of the demon lord. And the subsequent rise of the human race, becoming powerful, has already surpassed the demon child in history. However, they still couldn't wipe out the demon clan, and the deepest reason is also because of the demon lord. A half-step supreme being, strictly speaking, is not a supreme being, but still a realm beyond the beyond. The beyond is a major realm, where even saints far surpass ordinary beyonds, and a half-step supreme being is even stronger than a saint. When strength reaches this level, the role of quantity begins to diminish noticeably. The human race could wipe out the 3 silver clans because there were no half-step supremes among them, while both the demon clan and the golden eagle clan had half-step supremes. The war saint said, "I've heard from the old man that Lin has a trump card that can defeat the demon lord, but for some reason, he can't use it. The specific reasons, the old man didn't explain to me clearly, just told me not to rush, and let it go." Lin Mohan suddenly spoke up, "When I reach the level of saint, and establish a world of rules, I should be able to defeat him." All of them looked at Lin Mohan simultaneously, and the sword saint's eyes gleamed. "Is what Moyu said true?" Lin Moyu said, "I say it should be, in hindsight it should not perish." Zhan Jiang also said, "Fairy Han seems to have some confidence." Lin Mohan continued, 50%, but we'll have to see when the time comes. The war saint said, "Then let's wait for Fairy Han to reach the level of saint. As long as she can slay the demon lord, we will have made amends for the demons." In the headquarters of the 100 Races Alliance, the morale of the remaining soldiers from all races was low, completely devoid of fighting spirit. In this battle, countless casualties occurred, and the losses were heavy. Most importantly, their morale had been completely shattered. They felt that even with the support of the 100 Races Alliance, they couldn't contend with the human race. The human race seemed like a galaxy standing in front of them, insurmountable and daunting. The teleportation array lit up, and the flames of hell ignited. The Hell Demon Lord had arrived. He strode into the central castle and met with the other saints. The Abyss Demon Lord has suffered heavy injuries, and the rule world has been severely damaged. It will take time to recover. During this time, I will replace the Abyss Demon Lord. But I have a simple mind and am not good at thinking. I only know how to fight. You can discuss the specifics and tell me what to do. He sat down casually, ignoring the others. Although he claimed to have a simple mind, if anyone really thought so, they would be gravely mistaken. Just because the Hell Demon Lord didn't like to think didn't mean he couldn't. Being able to become a saint was not something someone with a truly simple mind could achieve. The two saints of the Golden Eagle clan also had injuries, but fortunately, they were only physical injuries that could be healed quickly. The Dark Gold Saint held a golden gemstone in his hand, closing his eyes, paying no attention to the Hell Demon Lord. The Black Gold Saint said, "We have suffered heavy losses this time, but the most troublesome thing is the loss of morale. We need to rebuild morale and reorganize our forces. I'm just curious about one thing. What happened back then?" They had all witnessed the anomaly of the Abyss Demon Lord at the time, but until now, they still didn't know what had happened. The Hell Demon Lord continued, "This leads to the second matter I want to address. Our army stationed in the White Tiger Star domain was annihilated. Everyone looked over. This was no small matter. I remember there were 1 billion troops stationed there, as well as 2 beyonds. Even though they weren't expected to win, how could they have been wiped out? Could it be the human race? But the human race has been inactive recently. It's not the human race, it's a giant starry sky tree." This revelation puzzled them even more. They knew about the giant starry sky tree, which controlled the laws of space, and its combat power within the realm was unparalleled. In the vast world, the starry sky tree that can reach the beyond realm is only advancing the soil. The Black Gold Saint asked, "Why would it attack us?" The Hell Demon Lord shook his head. "I don't know. That's just one thing. There's another matter. The Baishir clan, Tushir clan, Shao clan, and 10 other races, they're all gone." The Black Gold Saint was even more puzzled. "Gone? What does that mean?" The Hell Demon Lord explained, "Gone, as in disappeared. When they're gone, the stars also disappear." This news was even more earth-shattering. The Black Gold Saint couldn't help but stand up. "Has the Ghost Clan appeared again?" The Hell Demon Lord shook his head. "Not sure. Our barriers and Abyss Demon eyes didn't detect anything. It just happened suddenly." The Hell Demon Lord couldn't explain the specifics. It was the Abyss Demon Lord who controlled the Abyss Demon eyes. He just heard it from him. The saints looked at each other, unsure of what to do. At this moment, the Dark Gold Saint said, "Our Emperor has already met with the Demon Lord. They will investigate this matter. Our current task is to reorganize the army, adjust our morale, and our strategy against the humans is far from over." In the deep space, Lin Moyu's body was flowing with the laws, with the time laws pouring down like flowing light, enveloping his entire body. The space around Lin Moyu kept distorting, rolling like waves, appearing extremely orderly. This was the deep space, where the layers of space were deeply chaotic and disorderly. But Lin Moyu's spatial laws could sort through them, making them orderly. Lin Moyu had been in seclusion for over a year. In the first 50 days, he was in a state of enlightenment. In this state, his understanding of the laws of time and space deepened continuously. After the enlightenment state ended, his mastery of the time laws reached 40%, and the mastery of spatial laws reached the same. Although temporarily, he still maintained the state of borrowing control and advancing simultaneously. From 24% to 40%, it was a huge leap for Lin Moyu, equivalent to enduring thousands of years of meditation in just 50 days. For the remaining 300-plus days, Lin Moyu had been integrating the two laws. By combining the laws of time and space, he formed a complementary pair. The effect of the spatial laws would be further amplified. It took Lin Moyu more than 300 days to completely integrate the two laws.